Hello, and welcome to Marketing Your Book 101. My name is Taylor, and I am the publicist for Black Rose Writing. This is the first marketing webinar for Black Rose Writing authors. First of all, on behalf of everyone at Black Rose Writing, we want to say congratulations on publishing your book, and thank you for allowing us here at Black Rose Writing to be part of your journey. If you have any questions about any of the materials covered in this presentation, please feel free to email me at pr@blackrosewriting.com. And if at any time you need help with any ideas or have any questions, we're here to help you and assist you in your marketing efforts in any way that we can. In this presentation, we'll go over the basics of a marketing plan, what's included in a marketing plan, and how you can start preparing your marketing plan before your book launch. We'll go over a few different strategies and tools to give you an idea of what you can incorporate into your marketing plan. And last, we'll include some outside resources and additional tips that you may find helpful. But before we move on, let's first set the groundwork by clearly defining some terms that we'll be talking about today. First of all, what is marketing? Marketing is the activity, set of institutions, and processes for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partners, and society at large. So let's break this down. What does that mean exactly? If we break this definition down to bare bones, marketing is the process of communicating the value of a product or service to customers for the purpose of selling that product or service. That means in order to effectively market something, you must first understand the value of the product or service you're offering. Another definition that we want to define right now is what is media? Media is a term that we're going to be using a lot, or you should be using a lot in your marketing plan, because that is the point to get in publicity, is to get the attention of media. So media is the means of communication as radio, television, newspapers, and magazines that reach or influence people widely. This sounds like a great tool for a marketing plan. At first, you're probably thinking of paid media marketing activities, like taking out an ad in a magazine or launching a publicity campaign to get large media organizations to talk about your book. However, you should be aware that there are three different types of media: paid, earned, and owned. Paid media in any mass communication event that is purchased, such as a TV spot, radio ad, paid book reviews, paid blog tours, paid search ads, etc. Earned media is any mass communication from an influencer, be it a friend, a partner, a family member, that's word of mouth. If a friend, news organization, book critic, somebody else publishes anything to a mass audience, be it TV, radio, website, tweet, online, or off, this is earned media. Owned media is forms of communication that you control, such as a brochure, your website, an email list, your social media channels, and even your book itself. So this is a look at how these three types of media compare to each other. And for clarification purposes, a channel is simply the communication medium that, if done right, we hope flows the consumer from one step in the purchase cycle to the next. For example, if you're on TV promoting your book, that's earned media, unless you're paying for it, and then that channel becomes paid media if you're paying for it. Marketing the right way takes commitment, time, and a lot of times money. But above all, it takes caring about your book, but more importantly, caring about your audience and how your book is benefiting them. That will take you a long way. And just remember that this is a marathon, not a sprint. So with this in mind, let's move on to how to prepare your marketing plan. The first step in understanding your product, which is your book. Nobody knows your book, your characters, and what makes it so special more than you do. So sit down and honestly ask yourself these questions. First of all, what makes your book unique? Of the thousands of other books in your genre that a reader should pick up or could pick up and read, why should they choose your book? The answer to this question may not be in the plot of the story at all. It may be in the way that you wrote the book, or even who you are as the author. For example, we have an author that was a retired military veteran, and he drew on his experience in the military to write his book, which was a lifelong dream of his. This is something that is quite unique. Second, what is the value of this book to the reader? What will they walk away with after reading your book? And what do you think that is valued at? This doesn't necessarily have to be a monetary value. It can be an emotional value. It can be an educational, spiritual. But what will they get by reading your book? Next, who values these unique qualities and values the most in this world? This is your target audience that we're talking about. Be as specific as possible when thinking through who your target audience is. While it's tempting to say, everyone can get something out of my book, you're going to fail if you try to market to everyone. You need to have a clear profile of who your marketing should target. This should look like a list of demographics such as the gender, age, and general interests. Number 5, what are your goals? Be realistic. Number 6, what is your budget? These foundational elements will help determine what your marketing plan looks like. So here's an example. The first step to understanding your product is, like we talked about, understanding what makes your book unique. So let's say that I traveled around the world to research the effects of travel on sleep cycles as research for one very special character in my book. The answer to question number 2, what is the value of this book to the reader? Readers learn the value of friendship and perseverance, but ultimately learn the importance of taking care of your own health needs first. Number 3, who values these unique qualities? Well, my target audience could be college-educated businesswomen between the ages of 18 and 34 who travel frequently. Number 4, where do they hang out? Well, my target audience may hang out a lot at airports and online, according to this target demographic. Number 5, what are your goals? Be realistic. So my goals would be to sell 100 books the first month and sustain an increase of 10% each month. Number 6, what is my budget? I'm going to say my launch budget is $500, and then I'll do an ongoing support of $250 a month. So this can give you an idea of one way that you can answer these questions. So number 2, then once you have a better idea of your product and what your goals are, the next thing to do is to choose your marketing strategy. There's hundreds of different types of marketing. So how do you know what marketing tactics to focus on and invest your time in? Once you have a solid understanding of the value of your book and who you're talking to, you'll have an easier time deciding which marketing tactics to choose for your marketing plan, as long as you keep your target audience in mind. So which strategy appeals most to your target audience? The best marketing plans have a good mix of paid, earned, and owned media. One more thing I want to go over before you decide what your marketing strategy will entail are some author marketing myths. First of all, we hear this over and over again. I want to get my book into this store. I need to get my book into this store. The first one that the biggest marketing myth that we see is that if you could just get it here, you'd sell a bazillion books. Well, this is really not true. You'll receive an email from Reagan on the day your book releases. Inside this package, you'll find information on our distribution partners, which include Ingram, Amazon.com, Baker & Taylor, Barnes & Noble, among others. This does not mean that your book will be in every Barnes & Noble. If there is a certain store you want to collaborate with to do an author signing or another type of book event, then it does make sense to reach out to that specific bookstore to see what you can do together and make sure that they stock up on your book. However, if you do not have a plan in place to promote your book within that store, typically your book is now just competing with thousands of other titles, making it sell even less likely than if they were to actually know who you are and actively go looking for your book. The second myth is that if you put out a press release, you're going to get media coverage. No matter what a PR company tells you, if they say that they can guarantee you coverage, run. That's just not true. In the PR industry, there's never a way to guarantee coverage unless it's becoming a paid media opportunity. If your press release goes out on the same day that the cure to cancer is discovered, for example, I can assure you nobody within the news department is going to even read your press release. Coverage depends on a couple different factors, some of the biggest ones being how relevant your press release is to that media organization's audience and trends that are going on in the media, and really what else is your press release competing with that day. So you would think that maybe you could pay for coverage to ensure your message is heard. Well, too many authors naively assume that paying a few $1,000s for a publicist will pay off in terms of sales. Even if your release is picked up by the media, this does not necessarily result in book sales. Traditional media is more about brand awareness and social proof than actual sales for two main reasons. First of all, it's because traditional media is not highly targeted. It's more of a scattergun approach. For example, if you get a spot on an entertainment TV segment, a national TV segment, like Inside Edition, that reaches an estimated 3 million people each evening, and your book is about a paranormal romance, your target audience is not their entire audience, but instead a much smaller fraction of the people that they're talking to. And second, the most important challenge is there's a disconnect between where people hear about your book and the jump to actually buying it. So for example, if you're on TV, the consumer has to stop what they're doing, go to the computer, or get in their car and drive somewhere to go get your book. People in general are procrastinators. Even if they love your book, they are your target audience, and they do want to buy it, only a small fraction of those people who actually want to buy it will follow through on doing so. So with that being said, this is a great time to decide whether you'll focus your marketing efforts towards online sales or off. Again, think through where you can catch the interest of your target audience to make it easiest for them to follow through on purchasing your book. So I thought this one was a little bit funny. But it's one of the common themes is right when your book is published, you want everything right now. So another big myth is that if you just had that one big marketing push at one time, that's all it takes and you'll be good to go. Unfortunately, unless you have a very comprehensive launch plan that focuses on pre-launch, the first couple days and even weeks are generally going to be disappointing compared to what happens once Amazon kicks in and you start getting some traction around reviews and reputation. The truth is that a good marketing plan is a long-term commitment and it doesn't just happen overnight. But again, the fact that you're here and ready to do what it takes to learn to market your book shows that you're ready to do this. Step number 3, choose the tactics for your strategy. So now that you understand your product, you have a better understanding of the types of media you have at your disposal, and you also understand the challenges that you're going to face as an author. You're ready to decide how you want to market your book. For example purposes, I'll continue along with the example that I used earlier. To reach college-educated businesswomen between the ages of 18 and 34 who travel frequently, I want to come up with some tactics with their wants, needs, and habits in mind. So I might decide to have a marketing strategy that includes digital marketing, word of mouth, event marketing, content marketing, and trade show marketing. So what tactics would I decide to use in these categories? At the end of this presentation, there's a link to view different marketing tactics to give you some ideas. But for our example purposes, here's some tactics that I came up with that hit on my marketing strategies. I may create a website, a blog, really invest in social media, a digital ad campaign, whether it's through Facebook or a Google ad that focuses on certain keywords to market my book to my target audience, an author signing event. Maybe if my target audience travels a lot, then I may research and network with different bookstores that are within airports. I put together a press release and media kit for any special public speaking engagements that I have. So this should give you an idea of what the specific marketing tactics might be. So number 4, put it down on paper. On this slide, if you click on the link, you can view an example of a marketing plan on a Google Doc that outlines, what your outline of your marketing plan might look like. Organize activities by timeline. So organize them by the pre-release, launch, release of your book, and post-release activities. Number 5, after you have put together your marketing plan and you start working on each project, this is one step that that fizzles out after your book launches. You should be going back and reviewing results and tweaking your marketing plan each month. What's working and what's not working? It should be an agile, ongoing process of reviewing and tweaking your plan so that you continue to improve. Here's a slide that has some outside resources and links to more information on that will help you while you're defining your strategy and deciding which tactics to use. Feel free to save this presentation to refer back to it later on as well. And again, if you have any questions about the materials in this presentation or about your specific marketing ideas, please feel free to email pr@blackrosewriting.com. And stay tuned for our next marketing webinar where we'll cover specific pre-release marketing activities such as creating a website, press kit, email, networking, basic print materials that you could start getting ready before your release, like business cards, ideas around planning a launch party, and some other fun ideas. So stay tuned for that.